Welcome to AV in the Wild, the podcast that dives deep into the heart of the pro AV industry, out in the field, on the move, and in the moment.
Hello and welcome everybody to an amazing episode of AV in the Wild, but this is a special one because it's a mashup. You know how we all fell in love with Countdown does...
Cats do Countdown,
Cats do Countdown,
yes.
I even said it wrong. What are we going to call this one, Jeff?
I don't know. Maybe we call it the Integrated AV in the Wild Home. I don't know.
There you go. Let's go
Wild
with
Home,
that.
Home,
Yeah, something like that. I mean, obviously, part of the Wildwoods team, so I know Sam really well, but also been running and hosting the Integrated Home podcast for some years. So, I'm all things residential AV.
So tell us a bit, or actually let's start. How would you describe we're a lot younger in our podcast?
So we're a lot younger.
Family.
But...
I mean, you probably are a lot younger too.
Really not, but I wish. But in terms of our podcast, we're still kind of finding our way and working out where we're going with it. But yours is obviously a bit more established.
Yeah, I mean, we started it with a focus that we've been agency for CEDIA, which is the trade body for the residential integrator space, and working with them for a number of years gave us a lot of connections into that community. So we just thought, you know what, we need to just share ideas, information and chat from the integrated community with that audience, and nobody was doing it, so we thought, well, why not? And actually it's grown and grown, and we've got a loyal audience. There's lots of people out there who love to hear what we're talking about, but it's by integrators for integrators. That's the thing.
Given that this particular show, ISE, is co-owned by CEDIA and Avixa, I mean, that's almost what we're representing here, right? We do the Avixa end, and you're more on the CEDIA end. Do you think that tie is getting closer? Because to me, it feels like it's the closest it's ever been.
Absolutely.
It used to be so separate that Resi didn't speak to Pro AV, and it just it wasn't. There's so much more crossover. Why do you think that's happened?
Well, there is a lot of crossover. I think the associations have learned a lot from each other and are working better together at that level. I think also this show is demonstrating what a mashup the world of AV is.
It really is.
And I mean, there's a direction on the show floor plan that says the residential stuff is in Hall 2. No, it's not. I mean, there's a bit in Hall 2, but honestly, Hall 0, Hall 3, Hall 4,
I mean,
Hall
there's
5,
a lot of nice toys in Hall 3 that I'd be happy to have in my house.
Hey, it's all over, and I think that's the thing. You're seeing this the blurring of the lines is absolutely there, and it's really interesting that whilst the AV integrators, a lot of them will still stick to, clearly I'm a residential integrator and clearly I'm a pro AV integrator, and those dividing lines are still there. There's some blurring, but it's really interesting that the technology doesn't necessarily respect that.
And I think that's quite a nice thing for integrators to not be a jack of all, for them to be known to be specialists in one area, because I think understanding the context that you're working in is so important. Your approach to design and delivery in a home environment is going to be different if you're working to a listed building,
Completely.
Right? So it's understanding that. So I don't think that's a bad thing, but I totally agree with you. The technology is the technology. Yeah. So
is,
why wouldn't we have your kit in somebody's home?
Yeah. And I think we're all conscious, particularly in the hospitality space, where the brands that are owning those big spaces want it to feel more homely.
Yeah.
And we've been doing case studies and projects at Wildwood recently where co-working spaces, they want the feel of a members club. They want the feel of something that's very home. And I think those are really interesting developments, blurring, conflagrations, whatever you want to call it. But it's a really interesting time for that.
Interesting. Going to the sort of technology, the world of AV is vast. Again, we talk about video, audio, and all the rest of it. But again, in the residential space, in the kind of smart home space, you've got things like circadian lighting, you've got blinds, you've got audio, video transmission, as well as then the whole automation piece. What's the kind of trend for this year from a technology point of view, and where is it iteration? Where again, like speakers, for example, how much better can they get? Where are the kind of real kind of developments? Don't use the word AI though. And then then we'll do AI separately, because again, that's just a cop out.
But you can use the term smart home.
Smart home.
Yeah.
Again, so who's really innovating and who's iterating?
Well,
I guess, is the
I think that there's a lot of iterating going on in the world of audio.
Right.
And
we've got to a kind of peak, I guess, or a maturity in that space.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, the brands here, we've got a lot of the established hi-fi brands. I mean, it's interesting to see Bang & Olufsen on the floor.
I was shocked to see them on the
I mean,
floor.
I don't really class them as a CI brand, but here they are, and very different to other speaker brands who are here. But you've got, I mean, Sonats have a big stand here. You've got
I'll go Genelec, because I'm a big fan of Genelec. Love Genelec. They're an amazing brand.
Dali, I was on the Dali booth this morning.
There's some... I mean, you can see if you've got a Dali speaker and you know it's there. Yep. It has a presence.
And what
it's a piece, isn't it? It's a statement.
It's a piece of art.
It is. But what I think you're seeing from a lot of those hi-fi established names is a recognition that CI is an important part of their market. So, I mean, even on their Dali booth, just behind those big statement floor standing cabinets they've got there, you can see the architectural speakers, the in-wall stuff, the in-ceiling stuff that they're doing, and there's a recognition that is of value, and I think it's great to have those brands taking notice of CI and raising the bar in terms of audio quality, performance, and everything else, and I think that is great. We did some work with L Acoustics last year, and the stuff that they're showing is
rich L Acoustics,
different, but they're a huge Pro AV brand, and they've got a residential
super
solution.
yachts as well. They do the whole yachting stuff as well.
Absolutely. So those immersive environments that you can create now, and K-Array here again, big Pro AV brand, but the sort of tiny linear speakers that they do is really nice for CI. Okay. So
iteration on audio.
Iteration on audio, video and projection for home cinema. Again, you've got some of those huge brands here. Tiny part of it is what they're doing is also in the home cinema, and it's better picture quality, it's crisper, quieter projectors for those home cinema environments. Again, largely iterative, I would say.
I mean, one of the things that I think in the last that I came across that I just hadn't really thought about. I met a digital artist who we were doing some work with, and they sell their digital art to hotels and people have it in their homes.
Well, again, Samsung have got these frame TVs, and LG I know have got one. So
but
again,
it's the shift from going into a gallery and buying a piece of art, when you could have a digital piece of art which is still, got the price tag, and it's still something that's been created in a bespoke manner by an artist. So it's still got all of those things, but if you're bored of it, you can change it, right? If you've spent $5-6 grand on a
picture now that they do,
Right. We had a group of influencers that CEDIA hosted here yesterday, and they were coming from a world of design or architecture, and some of them were just home writers, and they brought them here, and it was really interesting looking at their stories and some of the stuff that they picked out. So they. One of them put on the story the C-Seed screen. I don't know if you've seen that. It's basically pops up from out of the ground and then unfolds in front of you with the picture.
Origami.
Like origami. And, it's those sorts of things that maybe... I think we in the industry just feel like, that's been around for a few years, but actually it still really catches the imagination of people who aren't familiar with it.
People still want the TV that pops out the foot of your bed. Which has never appealed to me because I'm tall.
To us, we do it all the time. Again, I guess to end users, again, we kind of get lost in the work. Say we live and eat and breathe and sleep this stuff, but to people coming in, it's still innovative and it's still new and
it's still innovative, and that's the same with the clients that a lot of these integrators are working for. They haven't seen it, they're not aware of it, they need education, and there's loads of stuff here that will still blow your mind, even though it's been around for a couple of years now.
So that's obviously where, and again, 8K, I'm guessing there's a whole bunch of stuff around 8K.
There's loads going on in that sort of thing, and how quality keeps getting better every year, the screen's getting thinner, everything is just still moving in that direction, and that's great because obviously prices come down. as well for the more moderate 4K.
So so that's obviously audio then and video. What about automation and lighting?
We are working here for Lutron, which is really interesting, and what Lutron are showing is digital addressable fixtures, because they bought All Luna, a fixtures company last year. They've obviously acquired Ketcher a couple of years ago on the human-centric side, bringing those together, making them digitally addressable, bringing them into the Lutron ecosystem. I mean, Dali's been around for a while in the commercial space, but if you have that digital addressability within the fixtures as well as within the control system, you know, Neil, it's going to mean reduced backroom space that you need, all the intelligence in the fittings. You're not going to need
going
those
to the edge rather than to central.
Exactly. So I think for integrators looking at that, they're thinking, and you know, Lutron is the number one in that high net worth residential market. So anyone getting a Lutron control system is now thinking, you know what, that space, that can now be a wine cellar, cigar room, kids room, whatever, and freeing up space, freeing up installation time. That's what integrators want to hear. So that was a big thing, and I think just generally that whole kind of light conversation, I think, is really interesting in the residential space, because what we're seeing is a number of talks here all around well-being and how people want to feel in their home. Light is obviously a big driver.
Circadian lighting,
Circadian rhythm is coming up, and I think we're at a point where, again, we've been talking about it for a few years. Actually, clients seem to care about that, and looking at how well-being is translated into the home through technology, I think is a really interesting dynamic.
When I think of ISE and how ISE has grown as a show, do people actually recognise the crossover, or are Resi people still trying to kind of keep themselves in those?
I think
halls?
I think there is still a distinct residential AV integrator. There is a little bit of crossover. There was a talk in the conference session around that dreaded word. Can I say it? Resimercial? Can I say that?
Yes, you can.
You know, we've got to find a better term. But there's definitely a space where some integrators from Resi are working in those kind of projects.
Do the CEDIA people see this as something that should be a fixture in their diary, or do they still prefer to go to CEDIA?
Oh gosh, I think this show is the international event for European integrators. I've been going to the Expo in Denver the last few years, and certainly from the UK and Europe, it's nothing like the audience you get here. There's a few, but not many.
And conversely, why should Pro AV people actually participate more, and what can they learn from the Resi people?
I think it's that kind of it's those nuances, you know. I think I don't want to be disparaging about what the Pro AV guys do, but it's looking at things.
But you're going to anyway.
It's looking at things like elegance, aesthetic, and how that can flow into the work that they're doing, and what clients care about in terms of the look.
It's more front end, isn't it? Again, the Pro AV, I guess, is behind the scenes rather than the front end. Sorry, go on.
You know, I don't want to use the C word, but do you think it is post-COVID?
Oh, that's
that word.
I wonder where you're going there.
I mean, it's a trend. I think you know,
because we've been at home and we want our offices to feel a bit nicer. And we want our homes to feel nicer as well when it comes to the tech. We don't want the clunky black boxes everywhere.
But do you remember when the workspace, you know, like when Google were putting like bean bags and slides and coffee bars, and everyone was thinking, you know, Californian weirdos doing that. But actually now that feels
been normalised.
Like it has been normalised a bit, and I think you have to think about that AV space, that AV in the relaxing comfort field space that brands want as workspace. You just have to think differently about it, and there's a lot that people can learn, I think, from Resi on that.
Okay. For obviously people from the Pro AV wanting to get into Resi, what's your kind of, where should they start? What's the ease? How do they ease into it? What's your top three?
I would absolutely have a wander around the floor here. I mean, Hall 2 is great. There's loads of stuff in Hall 3, 4 and 5 as well as we said, but Hall 2's got
great
some
audio
interesting
in 7.
stuff. I think also just have a chat with some of the people on the CEDIA booth. It's a very open, honest, transparent trade body. They're open to talking with people. And I think check out some of the talks that are going on. I think there's loads of interesting stuff here. Has been this year. I'm sure there will be in the future. Just keep an eye on where the trends are going.
Fantastic. Well, I think we've kind of scratched the surface. Maybe we can come on your show and we'll do a mashup the other way next time. Where can people from people watching AV in the world, where can they find out more? Where can they hook up with you?
Integrated Home Podcast. We're on all podcast platforms. We're audio only, but we do a bit of video, and we're probably going to try and do more of that this year. But yeah.
So those listeners who follow Jeff, that's what he looks like.
And so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're all over that, and social channels. So we've got LinkedIn, we've got Instagram, we've got all those stuff. So follow us, keep up to speed with us, and be delighted to have you on in the future.
Stay wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay wild. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
That's a wrap on this episode of AV in the Wild. Big thanks to our guests and to you, our listeners, for joining us on this journey through the AV landscape. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, share, leave a review. It helps us keep the conversation going. Catch us next time as we hit the road again with more voices, more stories, and more of what makes AV wild. Until then, stay curious, stay connected, and stay wild.